Risk of Rain 2. Have you ever wanted to drink so much Monster Energy that you fly instead of walk? Have you ever wanted to inject yourself with so much heroin that you became a Metal Storm prototype but with legs? Have you ever wanted to lose in a duel with a god simply because you were too powerful? All of these things are possible in Risk of Rain 2. Except it won't happen because you'll die long before it does happen. Risk of Rain 2 is a roguelike and a difficult one at that. Developed by Hobo Games, makers of such fine works as Risk of Rain 1, Risk of Rain 1 but again this time, and Risk of Rain 2, which I'll be referring to as Risk of Rain to further the confusion, is a fantastic game. Get out there and wipe that planet clean of its overly aggressive wildlife. But before you do that though, you'll need to pick who you're playing as. All the characters are quite unique and they feel completely different to play. There's the Commando, who can shoot with both hands, and has such a riveting ability as gun, guns again, and roll. Roll is objectively the best ability. The Huntress, who has lock-on arrows, less lock-on arrows. She has a teleport and is quite squishy. Unlike Multi, the best boy, who is thick. He comes loaded with more than enough firepower for any situation and can cake himself up at will. The Artificer is what you get when you make a B-21 Raider entirely out of wet tissue paper. Ridiculous damage with an HP pool maximum of about 7. DoD approved though. The Mercenary is actually the last remaining Japanese person. Surviving absolute population collapse, he wishes to fight the only thing more powerful. Nothing. 10 out of 10, very kawaii. Do you have a green thumb? Well, neither do I, but that doesn't stop me from playing Rex. This hunk of metal and chlorophyll is an invasive species, and we all know the story of the tumbleweed. Burn it, cut it, stab it, it just won't die and neither will you. Acrid is the logical evolution to your average gamer. Years of improper posture has turned his stature into that of a troglodyte. Lack of proper dental hygiene and bathing has turned all of his attacks into powerful vectors of disease. No social contact and pent-up anger from dropping to Iron 2 has left him with only the ability to lash out violently. Sadly though, I've yet to reach such an enlightened state of being despite my best attempts. Captain is the weakest character and I refuse to pick him. Useless, unplayable, a mess of a character that only those who spent their entire school life huffing Elmers could actually enjoy playing. Now that you've dropped in, you need to get stronger. Each stage has a boss, and you won't stand a chance unless you pick up some items, which come in a wide variety of effects and usefulness. From common to legendary, because naming things is hard, every item you get completely changes the run. Equipments are usually extra abilities on very long cooldowns that wildly improve your chances of survival. Lunar items are typically very powerful, but come with very impactful downsides. So weigh that decision very carefully. Accept those beads. Fuck those beads. Now that you're dripped out, it's time to take on the boss, which range from the very well designed and enjoyable to fight to the shit fun and innovative. Boss fights are really intense and you need to keep your wits about you no matter what you face. Carelessness will lead to death, unless you bring an 18th century blunderbuss. They sure don't make them like they used to. Speaking of which, let's cut to the chase. There is DLC, and it's pretty good. There's more than enough content for you to experience in just the base game, and you can easily seek hundreds of hours without feeling like you've missed out. The Survivors of the Void expansion adds 2 new characters, the Railgunner and the Void Fiend, and it also adds new items, bosses, enemies, maps, some of which are great. But if you're not feeling up to it, you can always play through the content by mooching off a friend, which leads to multiplayer. It's pretty good. You can play with up to 3 friends and all die together. Everyone's unlocks are available to the rest of the party, excluding characters, so you don't have to worry about being at the same level of progression. It's always a blast to hop in with a few friends and make your way through together. There's a ton I'm leaving out as well. There's other game modes, secret areas, secret bosses, artifacts, which completely change the way you play. and way more lore than I could go into right now if that's your thing, but I gotta leave some things for you to find out on your own. It's a great game. Pick it up. It's on sale right now.